Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Bowl TV for the 2021 USBC Masters from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. My name is Aaron Smith with USBC Communications, and folks, we are here. It's been a long wait, 3 days, 15 games of qualifying on an absolutely brutal 40-foot condition, 30 mils of oil. It's been tough all week. Scores have been low. At the moment, the cut number heading into the final game, minus 30. Which belongs to our defending champion, Jacob Buttriff. So at the moment, he has a spot regardless, but he currently is the 64th spot, just ahead of him, minus 29, Richie T. So if you've been following along all week, you know how exciting, how crazy it's been. We had people jumping in and out of the cut line back and forth all day today. And we got 5 more games for our competitors on B Squad to find out if they are able to make the top 64, advance to the event's double elimination match play bracket, and continue their quest for a Masters title. As we get underway here, just a couple of minutes left in practice, we're going to bring in Matt Cannizzaro, my co-host this week. There he is.
Hi,
Maddie, we're back. We're ready. 5 games to go to determine the top 64. How you feeling?
I'm ready to go, energized, and as you said, this is where it gets exciting, right? We start crunching numbers, and some folks, normally they'd be pacing the concourse, but now they're going to be pacing the hotel rooms, watching Bowl TV to see if what they had is enough. On the list, Jason Belmonte, Kyle Troop, all just waiting to see, is that number going to go down? Did they get enough? And we'll talk about all of that and more from today's action.
Absolutely. We've had so many great performances today, but right now everyone's kind of looking at that 64th spot. You mentioned Belmo. He's actually tied with Jacob Buttriff there at minus 30. Had a thrilling finish and a 10th frame split. We'll have to see if that ends up being the difference or not for him to make a run at his 5th Masters title. Ari holds the record with 4. Could add on to it with 5 if he's able to make it into match play. And Kyle Troop, the next player out after that, who's already in the clubhouse at minus 37. So both of those players eagerly awaiting to see the scoring pace for these first couple of games and to see if B Squad, if it's going up, if it's going down a little bit. So we're going to basically join with them as we watch throughout the course of the day. We'll run down all the top performances. At the top of the leaderboard, we have a gentleman who's basically been there all week so far, Gary Faulkner Jr. plus 220, followed in standings by Norm Duke plus 216, and then Tim Foy and Nathan Bohr at plus 154. So it drops a little bit after that. Jason Sterner, who's on B Squad, 5th place overall right now, plus 154. So he will have the opportunity to add on to that here in the next, or 152 for Jason, excuse me there. But he'll have the opportunity to add on to that and potentially take the overall lead for qualifying. But once again, pinfall drops, 3 game total pinfall matches. Win and you continue. Otherwise, double elimination bracket. It doesn't get fun after that. A long road to the stepladder finals. Let's head out to the lanes. After all that, we're heading to 41 and 42 and a mix of players who are all basically kind of in the same boat in one sense or another. Christopher Sloan, who made the show in 2019, leading the way at plus 47. We have Brad Miller, plus 12, Wes Malott, plus 10, and then Jerry Mars on the outside looking in right now, minus 62. But all these players can certainly experience the roller coaster of emotions that we've seen throughout the course today.
Absolutely, and we've seen it actually all week long. Some players going out, getting a ton on the fresh, and then as the 5-game block moves on, the wheels fall off. Things don't go so well, and then we've seen it the opposite way, of course, and some strong finishes to go along with slow starts. So a little bit of everything, and they've worked all week long trying to figure out all the pieces to make it all come together. As Gary Faulkner said yesterday, he started well the first day and then fell off a little bit. It was the opposite on day 2. His goal was to bowl just a complete block and get a feel for how things are going to look in match play. Of course, those are 3-game matches. So if you have a great look on the fresh, which is certainly a good idea to figure that out today, especially if you're well ahead of that number, time to try some things and get some different strategies ready for match play. Those matches are 3 games, but they go pretty quick. So a lot of different scenarios and storylines. Some players way up there in the standings will have a chance to experiment a little bit. Others are going to be fighting for those spots in the bracket. So as Aaron said earlier, it's the potential to get super aggressive. Maybe not the time to play it safe if you're hovering around that 64 number.
Absolutely, Matt. And as we settle in here and get our first look at Wes Malott, the big nasty, let's go full screen so you folks can enjoy. Matt and I will be here throughout the block, though. So our first look, once again, 40 feet of the condition, 30 mils the volume. We had Nick Hoagland join us at the beginning of a last round and just gave some amazing insight on this pattern and everything that went into developing it. Really a great piece over the course of pretty much the first 3 games. We got to follow some of the progression of some of the players. Had a really great pairing with AJ Chapman, who had a monster day. Nick Krummel, who's been near the top of the leaderboard all week, and then Martin Larson, just a phenomenal player. I kind of got to see them track the first 3 games and how they went about it. They went about it 3 different ways. You saw Krummel, who can create a little bit more ball speed, go pretty direct with the urethane. We saw Chapman creating a little bit more shape with the urethane, and then Martin was another zone to the left playing with reactive. We saw AJ get into that reactive ball, and I want to say early in game 3, and then kind of went lights out from there. Went about 180 over to make a big jump in the standings, and he's going to be moving on to bonus bowling tomorrow. Dropped a few links in the chat for you as well, folks. Direct link to live scoring as well as the results through the first 2 rounds. So as we settle in, just a big thanks to all the folks who make this tournament possible each and every year. Specifically this year, the NBS, the National Bowling Stadium, the Taj Mahal of 10 Pins, our host venue, and then their staff and support this week. They have been great in helping us maintain our procedures and protocols throughout the week. Along with the NBS, the RSCVA, the Reno Sparks Convention and Visitors Authority, our Sydney partner. The Row, Silver Legacy, Eldorado, Circus, a mainstay for bowlers over the years. PBA and Fox Sports, our event partners. 900 Global, Rotogrip, and Storm, our short duration gold partners. And Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider, here this week. Talked about the varying styles that we saw from that one pairing of Chapman, Krummel, and Larson a little bit earlier today. And we're seeing that here as well. A few different routes for these talented competitors. Trying to find their way to the top 64. We see Wes moving into almost third arrow there. We got Brad going pretty direct, so little variance already for folks who know how to get it done on these tough shots. Folks, if you tuned in earlier, you know we talked about it a little bit. We still have that Roto Grip bowling ball to give away. So at some point this block on bowltv.com, a Roto Grip bowling ball of your choice will be given away. It's easy to enter. We'll just have a prompt for you. You'll just have to click submit entry when that time comes. We will be sure to give you a fair warning before that happens. And one lucky Bowl TV viewer is going to be taking home a Roto Grip bowling ball. So there you go, folks. Not only the excitement of the final block of qualifying here at the USBC Masters, a major championship on the PBA Tour, a history that dates back to 1951. They could potentially take home something cool as well. Have to admit, during Chris Sloan's run to the stepladder finals was a newer name for me. Knew he was coming from overseas, coming from Ireland. But hadn't had a chance to see this young man compete up close. He put on an impressive performance. There we go. Won his first 4 matches, defeating Corey Husted, Chris Prather, Brad Angelo, and ironically enough, on his pair right now, Brad Miller, before falling to Michael Holloman in the match to determine the top 2 seeds. Sloan was able to come out of the 4-player elimination match of the elimination bracket to advance to TV, ultimately finishing 4th. Of course, Jacob Buttriff taking the victory in 2019. We were unable to hold the Masters in 2020, so Buttriff still the defending champion. And folks, we've had a lot of questions about it. We've seen it come up, and you can see it in the standings. It's pretty clear. Jacob and Jason Belmonte are tied at -30, and that is basically right around the cut number. That's an interesting chop right there. That threw me all off. Anyway, Jacob and Belmo are tied at -30, and they are both in the books. They have completed their session. However, if it gets to a point where they are tied for the 64th spot, like they are right now, if it happens to stay that way, there would be no roll-off. There would be no additional game needed. Jacob, since he is guaranteed a spot in the bracket, would be there. So whether Jacob finished 1st or 216th, he was advancing into the double elimination match play bracket. Wherever he would have qualified, if he was 1 through 63, he would have earned that spot. So if he would have qualified 25th, he'd be seeded 25th. But if he fell anywhere from 65 beyond, he would have that 64th seed face off against the top seed in his opening match. Jerry Mars, a strong player out of the Midwest, off to a nice start here. Once again, on the outside looking in. Despite the 10 pin there, seems to have pretty good control. There we go. Of the 1-3 so far. A little out of our camera range right now. Marshall Kent and Chris Prather off to nice starts. Marshall, a player who needs a big day or a steady day. Let's call it a steady day. One of the last players currently in the number to start this block. So 5 games certainly could go multiple ways. They're on 33 and 34 right now. Marshall with the front 6. Prather, strike, spare, 4-bagger. Prather starting today at plus 84. For Marshall, minus 25. So he was 61st heading into action this round. Some of the big numbers today so far in round 3 from A and C squad. Norm Duke going 123 over to move into second place overall. AJ Chapman, we talked about him, 181 over to get to plus 135. So big rally there from AJ to easily secure his spot. Chris Barnes had himself a nice day, plus 85 to get to plus 34. So some extended play in order for the Hall of Famer. Darren Tang plus 46 to get to plus 18 overall. And as we continue, we're up to the front 8 now. And with the front 8, we have to bring in the one, the only, Mike Flanagan into the broadcast. Michael, hello again.
Who you talking about?
With the front 8?
Yeah.
Marshall Kent.
Yeah, I've watched about 6 of them. Anthony Simonson has them all too.
Ooh, Simon.
Or did just a few minutes ago. He's about 4-6 pair, something like that, to the left of Marshall. You want to double check that?
I am looking for him right now. There he is. According to live scoring, he still has the front 6.
Yeah, so that's what I'm covering. That's what I popped in for. Just want to let you guys know. Got a tripod on one and using my cell phone on the other. I think we're going to get it done right here. Mark my words right here.
I'm liking the energy. I'm liking the confidence. Let's bring it home right here, Michael.
3 bills coming up for you because I've already recorded them bowling, so there's no cloud. Not even possible.
Not even possible. It's already in the books. Let's
and
go.
if they do it, I'll have it for you, and I might even build a little clip in to throw into the studio so we can watch it right here.
Let's go. All right, Mike.
All right.
That's what we're all about here.
See you guys.
There we go, Matt Cannizzaro. We're getting into business time right here.
It's good stuff right there. Crunch time. People getting it done.
Enjoy the confidence there. We're seeing moves already here. We see Brad Miller is has jumped about 2 zones there after where he started, seeing some success. And a couple strikes up there from his fellow competitors making the jump. I see 9 strikes on the scoreboard now for Marshall Kent, folks. Matt in the chat says clouds rolling in. Matt, you can't give us that kind of energy, Matt. We got to get this one right here. We got to get on the board.
We need
let's go. Look at this.
A last initial or something. Don't blame this on me. Don't let people think I'm trying to make this not happen.
It's Matt M.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We got the zoom. We got the look. Marshall Kent. 10th frame. Not going to lie. That looked pretty good. The subtle fist pump. I like it. Marshall's been there before. He knows what's going on here. An opportunity to make a huge jump in the standings. Was in the cut, but certainly wanted some additional breathing room here. Minus 25 to start. If he does this 2 more times, he's going to be plus 75, and he's going to be one happy camper. I know I would be. So here we are, 10 in a row. We saw this a little bit earlier, also in a game 1. DJ Archer on his way to 289. So with the strike here, this would be the high game of the 2021 USBC Masters so far. Marshall Kent, 4-time tour champ, long-time Team USA member. Looking for 11. Oh, let's get it. Let's get it. We're here. Mike Flanagan somewhere is having a good time. Getting ready for the moment, folks. Here we are. Game 1 and B squad, final round of qualifying. Marshall Kent starting the day at minus 25. Game number 1 here has just posted the front 11 strikes. Now looking to become the first bowler at the 2021 event at Reno's famed National Bowling Stadium, the Taj Mahal of 10 pins, to connect for 300. Let's see it, Marshall. What do we got here? And light, roll it. 299.
And the crowd goes wild.
Woo! I'm sure for Marshall right now, equally excited to be plus 74. Plus 75 would have been cooler, yes. How about that, folks? Some excitement right out of the gates here. Give us a number, Marshall. 299. As a note, Prather that game 259. Simonson's string of strikes ended in the 7th frame. Chris Sloan doing all the right things this first game, 214. Once again, was in great shape. A couple more like that. He will cruise back into match play here. Now at plus 61. Brad made the jump. Fought through it, stayed clean. Now has put together a couple strikes here, 3 in a row late. Jerry Marzenise 218, so he's going to be moving into that that cut area right here. He's getting close. Minus 44. He's hovering right around it. West with the first one, he can get to 239. 202 out there for the Brad from the Brad and Kyle show. Check them out on YouTube, folks. Subscribe. That's a game right there, folks. You kind of watch those first few frames for Mr. Miller, fighting it, trying to get something going. Filled his frames for an opportunity to make a move and then capitalize on it. And now he's in the 230s this game at plus 12. That is a huge start. Nice 231. He's going to get to plus 43. $228 for Wes. He's going to get to plus 38. It's an excellent job by these guys here in game number 1. Consistent effort across the board. To get things underway. I was going to say we could follow them to the next game, but that is actually one of the pairs here that we do not have covered, 43 and 44. There is some type of obstruction to where the cameras would set up, so we'll have to find a new group here on our featured channel for game number 2. But the good news for you folks is that you can travel around. We have 8 channels live in addition to our commentary channel here on Bowl TV. But this is where the action will be. We'll be breaking down the scoring pace, getting you updates, all the good stuff as we get closer and closer to determining this cut number to the top 64. Our bowling ball giveaway is still coming up. A Roto-Grip bowling ball of your choice will be won by one lucky Bowl TV fan. Let's actually stay here. We'll be going to 3940. We'll take some time, watch Jason Sterner, who's been near the top of the leaderboard through the first 2 rounds. As we begin to let things develop and get closer. To our final game. For Henry in the chat, Kyle Sherman 169 in game 1. And we just watched Brad Miller. That game shoot 231. Be sure to follow the live scoring app to keep up with your favorite players throughout the course of competition. We'll drop that in the chat once again for everybody. Question from Max in the chat. How many people do you guys think entered the giveaway? Well, it depends on how many folks we got watching at a time. So that's certainly varies a little bit. It seems like we tend to get the audience going once we get a little bit later into the blocks. Certainly expect that excitement today as well, even though I'll be getting a little bit late. But what I can tell you is that 100% of the people who do not hit the button to submit an entry can't win. You got to hit the button once it comes up. So that is the key. But that's all you have to do. That's the great part about the giveaways. They're so easy. We'll have a little countdown on the screen. Then a button will pop up. It'll say submit entry. All you have to do is hit that. No trivia questions, no additional information to fill out. Click the button. You're in for the chance to win.
That's it, Aaron Smith. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
Said by Michael Jordan and Michael Scott. And with that, a strike from Michael Martell. It'll be interesting to see Sterner's attack to this lane. We saw one of the guys trying to play a little bit straighter on our previous pair, Brad Miller, kind of get away from that. Obviously, these guys are returning once again to a fresh pair here for game 2 with the skipping and safety procedures and protocols in place. We'll see if Jason keeps it outside or if he feels the need to make the jump left, as we've seen a few players do today. Dale Coffey joining this group as well. And some more questions on in there for Max. What time is the giveaway going to be? Let's do it at the end of game 2. I like that. That'll be I'll give some time for folks to come in, get excited. We do project it to all channels, so you should be able to enter the giveaway from all channels. Good question, Mark. Joe, that is correct. If they're tied for 64th, since Jacob has already guaranteed a spot, he would be in, no roll-off. right, settling in here. Game number 2. Let's bring in Jason Thomas for the first time this block, live from the Bull TV Studio West. It's a working name. It's a working title. But JT, welcome back. JT, are you April Foolsing us right now?
Are you Bill Monty foolsing us?
Yeah, I was doing the Belmo trick. He did the whole hand gestures. That was a nice touch.
It certainly was. I haven't gone back and looked at it, but I imagine my face looks incredibly just awkward. Just awkward.
Aaron Smith
Bad.
panic face.
All of it. It's not a good look.
Well, I knew it was fake because there was no sound. I was standing right next to him, and there was no sound coming out of his mouth, so I knew he was pulling your leg. But I just thought it might be fun to see how long he could make it go for.
It was a great bit. Yes, was 100% in panic mode, but luckily we didn't get to that. Didn't have to figure out why. It's always the mute. That's what happens now. It's 2021.
That's right. You're muted.
I feel folks like you're just waiting for that to happen. You see it on there for someone and you're like, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? Are they going to start talking? Do you know? And then all of a sudden they go on and then you say, hey man, you're muted, or they're just in it. It's just a flow. It just happens. Like last second, you're ready. You're very cool, calm, and collected about it. Boom.
The masks add another element of deception, though, completely.
I would agree. And that 7-pin was deceptive right there on Jason Sterner. High flush. Going direct once again. Matt, I know you had the opportunity to talk to Jason for a little bit as he was the overall leader after his squad finished up yesterday. You folks can read that right up on bull.com right now. But Matt, talk a little bit about the work Jason's been doing. It's not necessarily all the physical stuff that we know he's in great shape. He's always working on his game, but there are a few other things he's worked on to kind of step up his game to this next level.
Well, I mean, he said that he's always had the physical tools and been able to do things, and his A game is being a little bit straighter and pretty quick with the ball speed. As you can see this week, it's kind of playing to his strengths, but he's had to learn some things. The first thing he actually learned was about urethane equipment, right? It's different than it was back when he was a teenager and it was making his first time through the cycle. But now the acquisition of EBI to Brunswick gave him access to the purple hammer that he's throwing now. So that really transformed his arsenal a little bit. That was the first thing, because he had to use some different tricks and different layouts and short pins, long pins, different things to get the desired reaction in the pass. So that was one thing. He was able to expand that. But more than anything, he's been working on understanding what's happening out there. And he was able to visit with Rick Benoit and Brad Angelo and their Bull U program, which is more of an analytical, strategic type training, where they give you the tools to understand what's happening with the oil, how it's moving around, how it's carrying down the migration, how the equipment is affecting it, and then being able to recognize these things by watching others or just by being observant. So you're able to make moves faster and more confidently. And he said that has helped him immensely because he didn't not understand, but he kind of knew what was happening. He didn't know why. Why am I doing this? Why is this happening? And now he knows exactly why, and he's able to figure it out real quick. That helped him get to another level where he's been consistently finding success. The next step for him is to get to a point where he's able to get to the TV shows. He's been on TV this year, and he said it was probably one of the fastest games he's ever experienced. He's been on TV 4 or 5 times, and his wins actually all came not on national TV. So it's extra frame events and the Lucy. So he's getting comfortable now at each level of success. He now understands the TV environment better, utilizing some of the tools he's picked up with Bull U. He's been able to kind of think through that a little bit different. So when he gets back on TV, it'll be a different mindset and a different game plan than previously. So all just, again, getting comfortable with each level, and then after that will come the winning. And then the more time you spend there, the easier it gets to be there. So these are things that he was able to do because of COVID-19. He said he always wanted to go out and get the extra help and add these dimensions to his game, but just didn't. That was it. He just didn't take the time, didn't have the time, and then having the downtime and not being able to actually go bowl or be on tour. He utilized some connections. He works with Heather, of course, on the physical tools and the physical training, and there was a connection there with Brad coming to get some fitness advice and some training. So it was kind of a trade-off, right? So Brad came to work out and do things, and Jason was able to then take advantage of Bowl U and get down to Brad Center, Brad Angelo Lanes, which is not too far from Rochester. So 1 or 2 or 3 sessions a week during the whole pandemic, and it really transformed his game and got him this new dimension, this new level. And all of that is falling into place this week, and along with being able to play to his strength again, which is playing right at 15 and utilizing some pretty good ball speed. So next step, I think, for him, as I said, is to get comfortable with each progression and also being able to add to the versatility and maybe get more comfortable playing left and opening the lane up a little bit when this look goes away.
Great stuff there, Matt. Excellent rundown. Of course, once again, the recap story from yesterday's round number 2 available on bowl.com. After the early 3-bagger here. Now looking at 3 consecutive single pin spares for Sterner, plus 162, which means he got to about 210 in game number 1. Michael Martell at plus 45. Dale Coffey a little bit farther back, minus 231. See some questions in the chat there about PWBA players in the field. We did have 5. Maria Jose Rodriguez, a big 268 game in game 4 earlier today, solidified her spot. Plus 43, currently sitting in 25th place, entering this final block. So Maria in great shape to continue her run into bracket play.
I love that reaction there from Michael Martell when he got that first double of the game. It's just ecstasy, pure ecstasy.
There we go, JT.
Shredding the rack. He is throwing ropes.
As Matt said, the ball speed certainly not a concern there for the Flash.
He actually said one of his biggest things is his footwork. Sometimes if he gets a little too fast, obviously bad things will happen. And he said that, they don't call me Flash for nothing. And slowing down is actually kind of a challenge for him as well. So really just a lot of pieces to put together. And things he's been able to overcome utilizing different hand positions and different types of ball rolls, but the speed always the A game. But another thing we talked about too is the ability to have 7 brands worth of bowling balls in your arsenal. Or you think, on one hand, that could be so awesome to have the opportunity to choose from so many different things and just build something at the same time, it could be a detriment just to have too many options and go absolutely bonkers trying to figure out which 6 or 8 that you need to have with you. All right, folks, as we near the end of game number 2 here, our final block of qualifying at the 2021 USBC Masters. A lot of folks sweating this one out over at the row or their Airbnbs or wherever they might be in Reno tonight. Some right on the edge of that number 64 number. Jacob Butchoff and Jason Belmonte tied for 64th place coming into this final block. They're both waiting to see how things turn out. Jacob, not worried, probably resting peacefully, knowing that he is guaranteed a spot in the bracket no matter where that number goes. Belmo, however, needs it to jump up just a couple of ticks because if it ends the way it is right now, Jacob would get that 64 spot. And yeah, we'd probably see Belmo on the show Sunday, but it would be as the commentator once again. So very interesting scenario there. And we'll talk more about that as the block progresses and we see if that number moves up and down. A couple other folks just outside as well. Anthony Stewart, minus 35. Kyle Troop, minus 37. We saw his final frame here live on Bowl TV. Michael Tang, minus 41. Chris Martinez, minus 51. Tommy Jones in 70th place at minus 56. So definitely many things can happen. Just above the cut line, minus 29, minus 27, minus 25, minus 23. So anything certainly possible with 5 games to go. And we'll have an update here after the first game of B Squad shortly, as soon as that's available. Overall leader, Gary Faulkner Jr., plus 220. And we know he's had success at the National Bowling Stadium, winning the PBA World Championship back in 2015. Had some good conversations with him this week. Actually, waiting on a call back tonight just to get some thoughts on how today went. He was plus 29 for the day and wanted to try to figure some things out heading into match play from here on out. 3-game matches, double elimination. Just you and an opponent on a pair of lanes, so a lot of strategy involved. Obviously, if you have one lefty and one righty, a totally different scenario. But if you're both on the same side of the lane, some conversations may happen about how to break down the lanes, and cooperation could often lead to some big scores, but it really doesn't matter as long as your score is 1 pin higher than the other guy. That's all that's important. It doesn't matter what's happened next door either. The first step, of course, is to get there. And these players on B Squad trying to add their names to the list. Michael Martell, another great shot for the left-hander. Jason Thomas, what is the feeling walking around the National Bowling Stadium? It's probably different with the other 2 squads not there, not able to watch in person. So probably pretty quiet, just these bowlers and the staff members. But what's the talk? I'm sure there's messages going around and some chatter, but what are you hearing on site there?
Well, I actually just had a quick conversation with Mike Pinoza from Bowler's Journal. He did a really interesting story with Jason Belmonte about what his feelings are potentially missing the cut, and then potentially missing the PBA playoffs. And Jason said, I think I'm still okay to qualify for the playoffs, but I'm not going to bowl it either way. And it's a really interesting perspective. He basically said, I've been away from home for 4 months. If I stay here, it'll be 5 months. I'll more than likely miss the birth of my 4th child. And I don't want to stay and then have to leave and give someone a bye. So he's basically not going to bowl the playoffs because he's been away from home for so long. And people just don't, they take that part for granted that, it's so brutal for him to, have to go back and forth to Australia, quarantine for 2 weeks every time he does it. So you should check that story out. It's a really good read. And looks like we've got Mike Flanagan wanting to get on the show. He's rocking out to U2 or something. Mike, what have you got for us?
Yeah, so I want to thank all my fans out there. No, I love walking up to this mic. It's not like sitting down and calling action. I've been talking to the experts, and they're saying that Belmo is in soft. That this number is going to get in the 40s, minus 40. That is. You guys been talking about that at all? You agree?
I said that earlier today. Right after he opened in the 10th. I thought that strike in the 9th locked him on in the cut. I've had a lot of disagreements with people since then that's going to be the case, but I still feel like Kyle still has a chance. Kyle Troop, who's at minus 37.
Yeah, Mikey Tang also thought he had a chance. Still, I talked to him at the end of the last block, and Mikey, I think, is like minus 40 something, 42 maybe.
41. 41 in the wood at the moment. Then Chris Martinez drops to minus 51 after that. So there is a bit of separation for the players who are already in the clubhouse, going from Butters and Belmo at 30, Troop at 37, Tang at 41, and Martinez at 51.
Yeah, another guy to watch is Tommy Jones, minus 62 currently. He's going to bowl 203, most likely, because he left the 210 on his 11th shot. I bet he's going to get one. He's attempting it now. I'll tell you the final score here in just a moment. He just went for one, and he got one. So 203 for Tommy Jones. That improves him to minus 59.
Keeping himself in it.
If we had odds right now, if this was a Fox Sports bet or something like that, I would set the line on Tommy Jones making this cut. Yes would be minus 120, and no would be even, despite him being about 30 pins shy of where he needs to be right now.
I think that's actually available at the Silver Legacy Sportsbook right now, Mike. So you just don't tell me you're with Bowl TV and you'll be all set.
Yeah, and the reason why I'd set the line like that is because as the book, I'd be begging people to bet against them.
Well, there we go. The buzz. The number is falling back. There we go.
That's just what the experts say.
Hey,
just passing along information. That's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Hey, buzz is buzz. That's what we like around here.
I filmed my intro for the vlog, too, finally.
Oh, I like that. Here we are. We didn't even know.
Yeah. That'll be out tomorrow.
Excellent.
And you know what else I'm looking forward to is the big board down yonder. Probably mess up the laptop, but it's down there. The big board's going to be filled out tonight. That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, the bracket board. Yes, that is cool. We got to see if Maria and Nathan get paired together against each other.
Ooh, yeah. What's the probability of that, Jason?
Well, it would be 1 in 32, right? Right? 1 in 32?
What places are they in right now?
I can give you that.
Yeah, I mean, let's actually really think about this logistically.
Starting the block, Nathan was tied for third. So I believe the tiebreaker would be highest overall block. I may be incorrect with that, without looking at the rules. But Nathan actually had the higher block compared to Tim Foy. Tim had the higher block today. So by my calculations, Nathan would be third right now. Maria entered this block in 25th. So
Yeah, 0.
So
for that first round, odds are not looking good at the moment.
Yeah, first round, no, but we will, once we know everybody, we will tomorrow report in the morning on the path to that, when they would meet.
Well, while we got you guys here, I know you've been having a good time with Mr. Norm Duke this week, Mike. But how about that Chris Barnes today, JT?
Oh, good point. Good point.
It's still in play.
It's on. Barnes got to plus 34.
Now, I hope for the sense of, or for the sake of JT and I, that when that bracket board gets created, that we've got Barnes and Duke can't meet till the show, or something like that. Anyway,
For the final.
yeah.
Well, Aaron, there's a score update. Have you read that off? What the new cut line is?
I haven't. I just saw it.
Ooh, give it to me.
We're here. We're going straight to the cut line, and it has made a move. In fact, minus 41. Michael Tang moving Kyle Troop, Belmo, and Jacob into the number. Kyle Sherman, currently the first player on the lanes, also in the cut, minus 27. Taking a look outside, though. First player out, Jerry Mars, minus 44. Anthony Stewart, minus 45. Richie Teese, minus 48. Wesley Lowe, minus 55. Rhino Page. Oh, Rhino's already in the books, 162, or minus 62. Graham Fobbs, minus 62. Tommy Jones, who you said now is minus 59.
They got the scores updated that fast?
Well, that was game one.
That was game one.
Yeah, we just watched game two. Wrap it up.
Kyle Sherman, 205, game two.
He gave some pins back that first game, 169, but working back, still within the number.
He was lost. Oh my goodness gracious, was he lost? He practiced, all the practice, and then in about the fifth frame, he and Callahan were down there talking about a ball change already. So, how do you not figure it out with all the practice?
Michael, I have to ask you, how did we talked about it on air when it happened, but we haven't seen you in so long. How did it feel to see a front 11 out here? It's happened. Marshall
It was nice. Yeah, it was real nice. We had a front 10 yesterday morning on the first game as well. Yeah, Marshall. I found he was using a black hammer. He's using urethane. He's with Big Bowling, but they let him throw whatever he wants. They don't have a urethane ball right now. So anyway, he was using a black hammer, but yeah, he was repeating, and Simo gave us a shot at it too there for a little bit. Oh, look at you, right on cue. Yeah, look at that. You set me up there.
Every once in a while, I have my moments. Take a look at Marshall and Chris Prather. Marshall continuing on, so it looked like he got to plus 74, so 216 that game, so plus 90 now in pretty good shape. He entered the block minus 25, yes, because he got to plus 74.
I took notes before the squad to see what the numbers were, who could get in, who could get out, and I've got almost all the numbers memorized right up here, Big Daddy.
My man. Then you can tell me what Dallas Leong is at right now.
Wish I had the theme song to play. I wish I had that. Dallas Leong has already completed competition. He was with Norm Duke, paired with Norm Duke. I was looking at this squad who can make it in. I don't remember that squad.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, let me guess. He's around even. I know that.
He was actually not too. He was just a couple spots ahead of Kyle to start this one. So technically around even, minus 21.
Okay.
So the only reason I know that is in an attempt to do something funny, I found a little whiteboard here, and I wrote all the clubhouse scores that were kind of in the mix, and Dallas was the first name I wrote at minus 21. So
yeah, I've got one of those too, back in my office on the other side of this blue wall.
They're tougher to transport than you think sometimes, though.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. Hey, everybody watching on Bull TV. Stay up late tonight. This is going to be a good one. And looking forward to tuning in the rest of the way. Guys, I got to get out of here. I got more filming to do.
Let's get it, Mike.
And a late night edit.
All right, we're looking forward to it. We'll let you go, Mike.
Good night.
Maddie, there we go. We're into game 3. So you know what that means?
No.
It's time for our bowling ball giveaway, folks. So in the next minute or so, we're going to get this thing started up. And one lucky Bowl TV subscriber is going to take home a brand new Rotogrip bowling ball of their choice. We have already given away a bowling ball from 900 Global, another one from Storm, and today is the day. Rotogrip. Now, folks, once again, all you'll have to do is once you see the prompt to click Submit Entry, you'll just have to click that button. It's blue. We do recommend, if you're in full screen, to take it out for a quick second for that. Should be available on all channels, but once you click, you are good to go. All right, folks, let's get it. 1, a Rotogrip bowling ball, your choice. To one lucky Bowl TV subscriber. Once again, we'll have the countdown here, and as soon as you see that Submit Entry button, that's all you have to do, folks. Give it a click. You are entered for a chance to win. The giveaway has begun. Good luck, everybody. 1 Rotogrip bowling ball to one lucky Bowl TV viewer today. All right, looks like Jake taking home Rotogrip bowling ball of your choice. Congratulations, Jake. Our marketing team will be reaching out to you in the next couple days to fulfill that prize. Thanks again to everybody for participating, and a big thanks, of course, to Rotogrip for their continued support. All right, folks, we are settling in here in Game 3. We're going to have a special guest joining us here in the Bolt TV booth. JT, I know you're excited about our next guest coming to join here. Had a big final game today to put himself in position to potentially make this cut with the way these scores are trending. Looks like it's going to be the case, but let's bring him in, JT. The real deal himself, Bill O'Neill. What's up, Bill?
What's up, guys? How are you?
We're doing great.
Absolutely.
Bill is in soft. He's going to go to bed. He doesn't even have to watch anymore.
That's not true. That's very, very much not true. You never know what can happen with the scores. I mean, I haven't seen. I don't think Game 2 is posted yet, so I haven't seen what they look like. But yeah, I mean, they're tough out there, so they're pretty volatile. I mean, you can catch some pairs that are decent, and if you bowl 10 really good shots, you can have a decent game. But there's a lot of bad games to be had out there for sure.
Yeah, the number actually did go down a little bit after the first game. So your roommate is now in the number. 41 is now the number. You're in a little softer than you were before they posted that first game. Everybody around here is kind of saying they think that number is gonna stay low or continue. But like you said, you just never know. Like, we're watching Marshall Kent this game, and he just shot 299, and he's got spare 3-bagger spare. So there are some big scores out there, but there's also some low scores out there.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how good you bowl. There's some ball reaction to be had out there. I think if you're watching Prather right now, you can see he's creating a pretty decent motion out there. He looks like he actually has a ball reaction. So, but I think for most of the people out there, it's just wherever you can play and whatever rotation you think you can use that you can make 10 really good shots a game. That's where you play, and that's what you do.
Now, Bill, today was a bit of a roller coaster. A couple 2-0s to start, a couple 170s to make that last game a little more interesting than I'm sure you hoped for. But we're able to get to 245 that last game to get to -12 overall. So talk to us a little bit about kind of the experience of just that roller coaster today.
Yeah, this has been a really rough tournament for me physically. I didn't bowl well at all in this event. I actually felt like my ball reaction was good. I felt like if every shot that I made that I thought was close, it struck a lot, and occasionally left a 10-pin or 7-pin, but for the most part, the good one struck, and I threw a lot of really bad shots. I think I missed the head pin more in this tournament than any tournament that I've bowled in years. I think I threw 2 gutter balls, and physically I was a mess, and got pretty fortunate to bowl a good game the last game. I made a couple big splits and somehow threw a 6-bagger to put myself in a position to possibly make this cut. And I took a bag out of the building today and went and practiced for a couple hours. Just in case I do make it. I had to try to get physically a little bit sharper, and because I know if I do make it, I'll be at the bottom and I'll be bowling somebody who's pretty sharp and has the right thing going. So if I do make it, I'm gonna have to bowl some better scores than I have so far this week.
All right, Bill, I got to ask, High Sierra, was that the spot?
Yes. Yep. With the High Sierra. Yep.
All right, excellent.
Yeah, they good people over there. They nice guys in the pro shop, and they took care of us there. And we definitely thank them a lot.
Excellent little spot there in Reno. Shout out to the Rudy and his family for just a great facility there. Just a couple miles south of the stadium there on Virginia Street.
Yeah, Bill, we saw Jason a lot on the live stream today, and he shot a big game the last game to give himself a chance to get in the cut. It seemed like the plan was to try to play it safe early on in the block for him, and then that didn't pan out. And he basically needed a big game the last game, so he just kind of took a chance and did what he thought might work the best, and had a few big games yesterday doing that. And I think but your last game, what was the strategy? Did you take a chance, or did you just say, hey, I just need to make 10 great shots this game and give myself a chance to make this cut?
Yeah, I didn't do anything out of the ordinary. I just made a ball change back to the ball I was using at the beginning of the block and kind of played more in the middle of the lane. And I started off. I tripped the 4-pin in the third for a double, and then I threw some good shots after that. And it really wasn't until the later part of the game where I was like, oh, I actually might make this cut. I didn't think I was going to make it, and I left so many like 3, 6, 7, 10 splits over the course of the event that I left 2 the last game. But because I left so many, I felt like I was lined up for them. So I was finally ready to make it. So I had a couple spares of some splits that helped out the last game.
I've said this a lot, and I believe this is true about this event and obviously the Queens on the women's tour. But this is probably the worst cut to miss, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, because for a couple reasons. For one, because the cut is so big, it's taken 64 people make it, and also because it doesn't matter where you qualify, you can win. It's not total pins, and you can give yourself a chance. Everything starts at 0 when you make it. So it is frustrating to miss this cut, and I've certainly missed this cut enough times to where I know the frustration. This event hasn't been too kind to me, and I actually think I don't know this for a fact, but I feel like that I've made the match play at the U.S. Open more than I made the match play at the Masters.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
I don't know if it's not more, it's close.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the 5-game blocks. I don't know. I'm not sure.
You've been pretty good at the U.S. Open, obviously. So I would imagine you've made quite a few cuts there. But EJ said on the show a few years back that this was the easiest tournament to win, but also the hardest tournament to win. I thought that was an interesting quote. Is this a tournament you like, that you look forward to?
I do because I haven't had a lot of success in it. I think I've never made the show in it, and I finished 5th or 6th a couple different times, and so yeah, I look forward to it because of that. Because maybe there's a part of me that puts too much pressure on myself, in this event because of that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something I look forward to every year.
All right, folks, we again are joined by the real deal, Bill O'Neill, and we have a score update after 2 games here for our B squad competitors. taking a look on the squad first. So just players in B squad. Anthony Simonson plus 180. Jason Sterner plus 174. Chris Prather plus 144. DJ Archer plus 98. Marshall Kent plus 90. Some of the top names overall. Let's go down to the all-important cut number. Bill, you're currently in 54th place at that minus 12.
I moved up a spot.
And we actually now have a two-way tie for 63rd and 64th place. Staying at minus 41, Michael Tang and now Wesley Lowe moving up a couple spots. So they are 63 and 64. So at the moment, that would be a nice clean break with no additional bonus bowling tonight for anybody. Anthony Stewart, the first player out, 1 pin back and is bowling on the squad, minus 42. Jerry Mars at minus 52 outside the cut on the squad. Benjamin Martinez, who made a show at the Players' Championship, minus 57, was a first-team All-American the previous year at Savannah College of Art and Design as well. Hanging around on B squad, Tommy Jones, minus 59. Michael Rubin, minus 60. And that's all the way down to Charlie Brown at minus 85.
So, Bill, you know, you're going to be bowling tomorrow. I know you're still not acknowledging that that's reality, but
No, I'm not.
I assume you're going to stay up and find out for sure and confirm it, and then try to get some rest for tomorrow. Correct?
Oh yeah, I'll be up no matter what. I'm still still on East Coast time, so
Gotcha.
And that's actually doesn't make any sense. Backwards, but I've actually flipped so much of the first couple nights. We were up really late, and now I'm just talking in circles because I had the time zones backwards, and I'm trying to make it sound smarter than the thing I just said was, but it's not. And what I want you to do is ignore the last 30 seconds of this.
We'll cut it out of the show later.
Just Men in Black. Just black.
yeah, the little doohickey that. Yeah. Now, there was an interesting story on Jason that just came out on Bowler's Journal about just the fact that, how long he's been over here and how much, how he's been away from his family. But I know he's not the only player that has to deal with that. This is a very long trip for you, and, you've got kids and, a wife and all that stuff. So how hard is it just being away from them for this long?
Yeah, it's pretty hard. I mean, obviously everybody has different times that they're away, and Jason's obviously the most severe out here, and he's been gone since the middle of January, and same goes for Dom Barrett. I believe he's been over here the whole time as well, and it's difficult. It's certainly not easy, and even when you're only gone a couple weeks, the kids miss you, and Christy, she works full time as a teacher, and then has to come home and do everything around the house that I would normally do when I'm home. So it puts a lot of stress on her, and even if it's only a week or two, it's still it's still hard.
Yeah, I'll bet you they're happy when you get home to see you, and Christy probably the most. Hey, take them for a while, please.
Yeah, she doesn't mind hanging with the kids. I'll come home and I'll take care of the rest of the stuff around the house and make sure the laundry's done and dishes are clean and all that stuff, just so she doesn't have to worry about any of those things. And but the kids, Gavin, he just has somebody, so he can have somebody else to play with. I can play Xbox with him, or watch him do whatever he's doing. And my daughter Avery, she's attached to her mother. She doesn't really care much if I'm gone or at home, really.
Yeah, I've got a couple of kids like that too, Bill. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
One of them still loves me though. As long as you have one.
Yeah, you need one to keep your sanity.
Is that the next edition of the Meatloaf song there, JT? 1 out of 3 ain't bad?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll take that. Those are good odds.
All right.
Bill,
go ahead, JT.
I was just gonna ask Bill about some of the he didn't have the luxury to mess around too much this week because he had to grind his way into the cut. But what are some of the things you saw out there that you can take into the matches going into tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the frustrating thing about my score this week is I felt like I actually had a pretty clear picture of the lanes and what I needed to do and the balls I needed to throw, and I just never got comfortable physically to make enough good shots. So I think I have a pretty good idea. If I can, dial it in tomorrow and bowl well and get back to the form I know I can. I feel like I have a chance to, maybe make a run and surprise some of the guys at the top. But it just all comes down to physically. If I the things that I worked on in practice today, if they were right, and get my hand back in the right spot, then ball motion wise, I feel like I'm in a pretty good place.
We're wrapping up Game 3 here. Bill O'Neill joining us in the Bowl TV booth. Some updates from some players around the cut. We mentioned Wesley Lowe had tied Michael Tang in that 63rd spot, 182 this game, so he's going to be falling back a little bit. Anthony Stewart, who is one pin out of the cut, is going to be in the 230s. So a quick swing like that for Anthony. He is over there on lanes 1 and 2. Kyle Sherman, a big game as well. He was in the minus 20s, going to be into the 230s, get on the right side of plus. So the moving and the shaking does not end here. Just continuous back and forth, back and forth. Bill, for you, after so many years on tour, are you listening to all the, when you're out there on the lanes and people are talking about cuts and what you need to get to, or you want to be at this, are you listening to that, or is that something that's just kind of in the back of your mind? I'll worry about that when I'm all said and done.
No, I like to know what the numbers are, and I have a pretty good idea. I mean, I don't watch I'm not watching the updates every game all in bowling, but for the most part, you have a fair idea of what the number is going to be around. So because you need to know, you can't just bowl and then and then just look at the scores when you're done, because if I could have very easily, if I didn't look at the scores, would have thought that I was had no chance to make it going into the last game today. You want to know, because if you only need 170 the last game, you're not gonna try to go crazy with ball changes or lane changes, and you're just not going to do that. You're going to play it a little safer. But if you need 230, you're going to have to make a jump or a ball change or a speed change or something to try to bowl a bigger game. So I think for that perspective, you need to know at least what the cut number is, and have an idea of it.
I agree. But it seems like more and more these days, a lot of players, just don't want to know the score. They just want to go out and make good shots. But there is a huge factor in knowing the scoring pace and what you need, which, I was always the same way. I always wanted to know where I stood and how aggressive I needed to be. But do you was it fun out there that last game, knowing you needed a big game to make it? And did you enjoy it? Getting to make great shots on a really difficult condition to shoot a big game the last game to get into the cut here?
No, I didn't enjoy it at all. I'd rather have been 200 over and just been able to ease it in and have a nice last couple games where I didn't have to stress free. No, I didn't enjoy it at all. I would rather have those anxiety-filled moments for shots to make shows or to win matches rather than to sneak into cuts. But I tell you, just going back to what you said a little bit ago about the more players don't want to look at scores. They're liars. They're lying. Everybody looks at the scores. You may not be walking up and down the building to see what everybody bowled each game. There's some guys that do that, but
yeah,
most people don't. But everybody's at least checking the scores because you have to. If you're just laser focused on your game and you think you're bowling okay, but you're bowling 215 every game and the scoring pace is 230, you're out of the tournament.
Yeah,
you have to know what's going on around you at some level.
Yeah, I agree. Have you ever toyed around with the idea of not caring about that and just saying, hey, I'm just gonna try to shoot 260 every game. I don't care what the scoring pace is, and I'm gonna forget it.
No, I'm good because like if he tried to do that this week, you'd be in big trouble.
yes, you would. Good point. So
All right.
I think you can think about anything, in the back before you get up on the approach. It's okay to think about the scores as long as when you get to a certain point as you're walking up to the ball return, that it shuts off and you go through your routine.
Yeah.
It's okay to look around or to talk to people, whatever it is that makes you happy and comfortable. But once you get up to a certain point and say, okay, now it's time for my shot, going through my routine, and then that's when your headspace goes blank, and you're supposed to just be up there and just
I
not
remember
think about anything,
reading
letting your body do it.
a book. It was a golf mental game book, and there was a section where they measured brain activity in amateurs versus pros, and the amateurs had all kinds of brain activity when they were over the ball, and when they were not about to hit their shot, their brain was doing nothing, and the pros, their brain activity was completely opposite. It was thinking about things between the shot, and then when they get over the shot, the brain just completely shut off. And I thought that was interesting. It was a really, really great illustration of the way the pros think. Once they get up on the approach, all there is just one thing.
Yeah, that's something actually that my dad's been beating into my head for a long time. And when you watch other sports, and you watch, let's say, golf, you see everybody, they go through their pre-shot routine. They waggle the club the same amount of times, or they take the practice swings the same. Everything's the same. You watch basketball, you watch guys shoot free throws. It's always the same. They do the same. And so like when you're doing that, you're training your body to believe that every shot is exactly the same. And so I think that's what most pros in any sport try to do, is just make sure every shot is the same. Whether it's the first shot of the tournament or the last, you want to make sure it's as normal as humanly possible.
Yeah. Is there a point, and I would assume this applied today, where you just stop worrying about ball motion and you just realize you have to make shots? Or do you do that all the time?
No, in this tournament, I didn't change balls a ton because I knew it wasn't the balls. You still obviously need to be prepared, and have multiple options down there just so you can see, when you move different pairs or when you decide to make because in this event, you played them a little bit straighter on the fresh, and then you can make a bigger move left, like kind of how, you saw Prather bowl in that last game there. And so you have to have different ball motions, for that. But for me, it was more just trying to figure out what I was doing wrong and try to make some good shots.
All right, JT is going to run and adjust some cameras here for the folks with the unique skipping procedure we had this week, Bill. And, I think it was something new for the guys and the gals in the field this week, essentially going from fresh to fresh for game 1 and game 2. Talk a little bit about that added trickiness to an already tricky pattern.
Yeah, I think it put some importance on making sure that you were doing the right things in your first half of practice. Because you're bowling on your second pair. So you want to make sure you don't screw the pair up. And I think that's why it seems to me you see decent scores in the first 2 games, and then games 3 and 4 they kind of start to taper off a little bit, because of that, because you don't really know who you're following or what they're doing, and the skip is so big that you end up on different sections of the building from games 2 to 3 and then 3 to 4. So that's why it looks like there's it could be a pretty good dip in these games 3 and 4.
All right, as we get those cameras adjusted, Bill, we're going to bring in the one and only Mike Flanagan to join us here as well. So,
I'm logging
Michael.
off.
Hey, yo, Bill,
There
this
he is.
isn't Mike Flanagan. This is Big Mike Philly, baby. This whole TV's terrible unless they got these pro athletes on here, man. I love it that they have you on here. Otherwise, man, this is just not very good at all. These commentators.
Mike, I don't know how many people are getting this joke, but I got it and I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah,
and I think Mike is probably watching, even though it's late in the evening.
Oh yeah, he's watching because you're on. I mean, number one.
I didn't tell him I was coming on though.
You know, I got a friend that owns a foam finger business, a custom foam finger business, and one person has ordered a Bill O'Neill foam finger. Big Mike, number one fan.
There's no way you know somebody who owns a foam finger business. That's not a real thing, is it?
No.
No. There's no way that there's a foam finger business, that there's one guy that owns a business and that's all they do is make foam fingers. There's no way that's real.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to Big Mike. I watched the show last night, got his opinion of what this Bowl TV broadcast looks like, and he loves it when we have bowlers, athletes that are participating in the tournament on instead of the commentators here. And Rob likes to mute the commentators unless there's a pro on. So I'm glad they're listening tonight.
Listen, I think there is some validity to that. I think, because I imagine for you guys, it gets really difficult to talk about bowling for 15 games here and talk about the same things over and over again. So, I think we definitely should do more of this when we're when we're not competing. And that when Jason texted me to come on today, I was like, oh man, I was watching a basketball game. I might have had a wager on the Nuggets tonight, maybe, and I want to watch that game. But then I thought, nah, I got to come on. We got to do this stuff. So you're welcome. Is what I'm getting at.
Well, I was so fascinated with the conversation, Mike, that I forgot to change all the cameras, and we didn't have any cameras on bowling. So I mean, yeah, he's right. I should not be on the show. Bill should be on here talking, and I should be moving the damn cameras so people can watch the bowling.
Hey, Bill, how was the practice session today with PJ?
It was good. Yeah, I felt pretty good. I took some videos and sent them to my dad. Sent them to him, and I said, "Dad, this looks absolutely horrible. What am I doing?" And so we went back and forth a few times, and I think I got it ironed out a little bit. And hopefully I can make this cut and I can get in there and put it to use.
Did you get that? Was it a timing issue? Is that what Dad found?
Yeah, I think sometimes when I'm trying to be too perfect, when the lanes get harder and I'm trying to make such great shots, I tend to either, like when I start my first couple steps, I can be like leaning forward a little bit, and also like my push away really slows down, and like it just gets to a point where it starts to drag, and then in order for the ball to get to the top of the backswing, now I have to pull it. And so when I pull it, that opens my shoulders up, and it only goes one of two directions from there. It either stays where my shoulders are open and the ball goes way right, which it did a bunch this week, or, it overcorrects and my hand goes over the top of it and I spin it and I miss left. And so both those things happen quite a bit this week. That's why I was leaving a lot of head pin spares and a lot of splits with the 3 pins. So, hopefully it's closer to fixed and I can get some more games in and get a little more comfortable.
Cool, man. I just wanted to pop on and say hello and give a shout out to the Sweep the Rack guys that really don't want to listen to us, only want pro athletes on, and we got one on tonight for them.
Well, listen, that you were making fun of them for the criticism, and you obliged, so they win.
They win.
Yeah.
And,
Mike.
thanks, Mike. We've got to give a shout out to PJ too. He's in the cut. He'll be bowling tomorrow.
Yeah, PJ bowled well. He was steady Eddie. Just no games that were real big, nothing real small, and that's exactly how you have to do it in this tournament. You just stay around and not try to have anything cripple you. Like 150s can be brutal, and especially when the scoring pace is this low. When you bowl a game like that, now you're chasing, you're trying to bowl 220 or 230. It gets really, really difficult.
Yeah, Aaron Smith the other day asked me to describe what I thought it was like bowling this tournament here this week, and I told him the story of Sisyphus. You familiar with the story of Sisyphus, Bill?
That sounds like something that was in a book, and so no.
I said the same thing, Bill. I said the same thing.
Yes, that's part of my English literature major in college. But Sisyphus was a Greek character who was punished for eternity to roll a rock to the top of a hill where it would roll down the other side, and then he'd had to roll it back up to the top of the hill, and then it would roll down the other side. And it felt like watching bowling this week. That's what it was. It was like you'd shoot 250 to get back to 30 over, and then you'd shoot 160 and you'd be back to 20 under, and then you'd shoot 240 to get back to 20 over, and then you'd shoot 160 to get. And it was just kind of back and forth for a lot of players all week long. And looking at your scores, it certainly seemed like that was your experience out there this week. You were kind of hovering around even all week.
Yeah, for sure. Because a lot of it depends on how you start games, and so if you can start out with a double, it frees you up a little bit. Now you're like, okay, if I stay clean the rest of the game, I'm going to bowl a 200 game, and a 200 game is good. But if you start out a game like Benjamin Martinez is here, he's 44 under, 2 to go. He probably needs 20 over something to make it, and or to feel comfortable. And he's got 51 in the fourth, so now he's chasing. And so that's where 150s and 160s can happen, because now you're chasing a 4-bagger here when this pattern it's really difficult to throw 3 or 4 in a row.
Give us your take on what if Steve Klumpkin had gone out on tour? How do you think he would have done? How many titles do you think he would have won?
It's a good question. I'm not sure. And Steve is a really solid player. He's always I feel like he has the opposite Masters experience than me. I feel like every time he just shows up and makes the cut every time. No worries, just comes in. He uses the 15 games as like a warm-up, just kind of practices a little bit, gets his feet under him, qualifies, somewhere between like 20th and 40th, and just does his thing. He's just a solid player. It's hard to know, how successful he really would have been, because what's hard out here is if you don't have a really specific A game that is unique and that is really good, you have to be really good at everything else that's the only really two type of successful bowlers out here. And I think Steve kind of falls in the bucket of not having an A game that would stand out, but just a solid player. So he's someone that would make a ton of match plays, but maybe only a handful of shows, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. No, I totally get it. I mean, Mark Baker, I think, said it best. He said, you either have to be unique or you have to be a stone cold shot maker. And there are some players that are both, and those are the ones that are all in the Hall of Fame. What would you consider to be your unique trait? Because you're definitely a shot maker. Anybody who's won the U.S. Open, you can't win the U.S. Open without being a shot maker.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't think I have a particular A game that separates me from anybody else. I think that my biggest skill is being able to adapt my game to almost anything we bowl on. I've made a lot of shows and won titles on anywhere from 32 feet to 52 feet. So I think that's kind of what I pride myself on. And I recognize from a very early stage out here that I didn't have, there was never going to be a pattern that was put out where anybody would look around and go, oh, I bet this is the pattern that Bill O'Neill leads on.
Yeah.
There was nobody, there was just nothing that we'll bowl practice sessions and be like, oh, this is Jesper and Jacob's week. Oh, this is, I bet you Belmo kills him this week. Oh, Anthony will have it, or whoever. When there was a lot of years where it was like you'd bowl practice, be like, oh, this is the Barnes and Norm week, and yeah. So I don't think I ever really was in those conversations, and so I had to figure out how I was going to do it. And I said, all right, I got to have different speeds and different rotations. I got to be able to play straighter and play in the middle of the lane and play in the left gutter, and and that's what helps me out of here. And I think my ability to read the lane and understand what the pattern is and where my scores will come from is really what gives me a chance out here.
Yeah, I get to work with Rob Gottschall now on a daily basis at USBC, and he was always one of my favorite people to talk to, both before and now. But we had a really interesting conversation about players that, because being a ball rep, it's like playing a video game, and the bowlers are the remote controls. You can just tell the remote control to do whatever you want, and the remote control does it. And he said, out of all the players that he got to work with, whenever he told you, hey, can you move 10 left and tilt it a little more and switch to this ball, you could do it on a dime without any shots in between to have to kind of figure out how you wanted to do that. So I thought that was an interesting compliment, and I would say that would have to certainly be a skill that you've worked on and honed over the course of your career, and it's something that served you pretty well, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's something that took me a long time to be able to do. I was on tour for 3 or 4 years, and only made a couple shows, and it's hard. It takes a long time to be able to adapt your game. And when I first came out right out of college, the only thing I could do was throw it hard. And I was really good at it. I could throw it really hard, and I could roll it a lot. But then I came out on tour, and I was like, oh wow, this only works like every 10th week. So I'm gonna have to figure out.
Your bank account goes away pretty quick when
I'm gonna have to figure something out here. And so it took a long time, and finally got to the point where I was comfortable doing multiple things. And Rob was one of my favorite reps to work with ever, because of those things. There's not a lot of being a ball rep is really difficult because you're sticking your neck out and trying to tell people what you think is right, and it doesn't always work out, and that's a very hard thing to do because each player wants to be talked to differently or sees the lane differently, and it's a tough thing. And Rob was always just someone who was really, really honest with me, and if I would come back and say, I think I threw that one okay, he could say, no, I thought it was terrible. And you need that sometimes, and you need that person to be honest with you. And he could tell me like, yeah, you got to move 10 left, you're in a bad zone. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, let's do it.
I think my favorite part of the story that when I had talked to Rob about that was, he said one time he was arguing with you about where you should play, and you kept saying, no, that's wrong, and then he said, just try it one time. And he said, you threw it, you made the move, you aced it, you washed out, you look back at him and says, well, see? And he's like, yeah, you aced that. I was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. Let's do what you want.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly that story, but it sounds correct. It definitely it sounds like
sounds like one of your conversations.
Yeah, for sure. But Rob, for me with ball reps, all it takes is you say something that I'm not thinking about one time and it works, then I give you carte blanche from there on out. I'll try it. If something ain't working, and you're confident in something, and we've had at least some experience of being right, then I'll give you the benefit of the doubt for sure. And Rob was certainly right way more often than that washout story. And I think I only say that because there is a chance that he's listening right now.
No, he's definitely listening. Steve Klumpkins bowled an interesting game. He was hitting the pocket the first 5 frames and left a stone 8, a blower 7, and then as soon as he missed the pocket, he's maximum penalty.
Yeah, this pair doesn't look too good. Benjamin here looks like he's throwing some decent shots, and they just broke loose on him and split high. And Steve looks like if he gets the ball right off of his hand at all, it doesn't hook. It just looks like it goes a little forward. And I think he's probably, since he's 80 over, he's probably just trying to roll it and not create a whole lot of shape down the lane and just flat 10. 15 more times and go to bed, and that's exactly how I would be playing them. And, that sometimes that can lead to some lower scores just because you're playing a little more defense than maybe you should.
Was there a part of the center that you liked better, where you got more scores than another part of the center?
I seem to like the lower end a little bit better. I bowled 240 the last game on 1 and 2. I think I had another 220 or 2 down, in the 7-8 range. So yeah, I think the lower end seems to hook a little bit more in the right spot for me.
Yeah, and for the match play, those pairs will be out of play for the most part once we get down to the the later part of the tournament. But Nick Hoagland came on earlier today and was talking about how he thought the scores would be quite a bit higher in the matches, and that he wouldn't be surprised to see somebody shoot an 800 set. Is that something you think is possible?
I mean, I'll take the under if he wants to bet an 800 score. I mean, I think most of the time in this tournament you'll see scores in matches that are higher than the week. It's because you get to bowl 3 games in the same pair, so that certainly helps. Being able to kind of camp out and figure out what you want to do and just follow your own transition, and instead of worrying about what 4 guys did on the next pair that you're going to. So you will see, just like every other time we have the Masters, you're going to see some matches that are 560 to 530, and then you'll probably have other matches that are 660 to 680. And that's the nature of this tournament, and that's really what EJ's point was about how it's the easiest tournament to win, but it can also be the hardest, because you can luck your way into a show in this tournament where you can't do that in the total pin event. But it's also really hard because you could have multiple matches where you got a double intent to advance, or catching draws of guys who are bowling big numbers, and so it is an interesting event like that.
Speaking of EJ there, 277 here in game number 4. And way down on lanes 3 and 4, Dale Coffey has started this game with 9 consecutive strikes. So Mike Flanagan already down there looking for that first 300 of the 2021 Masters.
Yeah, he looked like he was throwing it great and had a really good look when we saw him on the live stream pair a little earlier today. So not too surprising to see him whacking him, even though he's pretty far out of the cut.
We do have an update.
Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
Oh yeah, we do have an update after 3 games available now. So Dale specifically was at -203. So if he does that a couple times in a row, he'll be in business.
Yeah.
But
so
the new
the
cut
back 24 for a cut.
But the cut number at the moment continues to be -41. Michael Tang in the books. Benjamin Martinez on our featured pair, the first player out at -44. So this late string of strikes, huge for Benji right here. Looking a little bit farther back, Tommy Jones -51 entering this game. Wesley Lowe -59. That's all the way down to Jerry Mars at -83.
We'll want to follow one of those players here the last game, as we have the first 2 blocks. It's always compelling to watch the players come down the stretch with a chance to shoot a big game to make the cut. Bill, I'm curious about the matches. It's funny. People always say that, well, you can shoot 750 and lose, and you can shoot 550 and win, but a lot of it is dictated on how the players on the match pair decide to break them down. Is there kind of an unwritten agreement between players when you go into a match that, hey, we're gonna break them down, and we're gonna make them easy for each other, and whoever strikes the most wins, or we're not going to cooperate with each other and we're going to make them ugly? How does that kind of go down?
It goes down the exact opposite of what you just said. No, there's no agreement. Everything's fair game, and you got to keep your eyes open. You got to see what the other guy's doing, and you have to be prepared for it, and whatever that is, and that's the beauty of this type of format. And when we used to bowl on the tour when we bowled the best of 7 match plays. It was the same kind of idea, and it's all part of the game. It's all part of the chess match. And obviously, there's certain things you don't do. Like if I'm bowling a lefty tomorrow, I'm not going to throw a dull ball from second arrow on the left side into the gutter or anything. I'm not, you're not doing things like that. But I mean, if I'm trying to play 12 and the guy that I'm bowling is trying to play 8 with urethane, like I'm going to use a dull ball and play 8.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of this type of format. And so you gotta be prepared and always have your eyes open. And if you and certain people out here do it just to see how you'll react. And if you start throwing a tantrum about it and you start to get upset because somebody's doing a thing you may not like, well, you've lost the mental battle, and it's a good chance you might lose the match because of something like that.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're a player that likes to play more offense versus defense, or do you even believe that's a real term in bowling?
No, it's real, and I think most people prefer to play offense, but sometimes it works to where the offense is also defense as well, to where the thing that you want to do to make your look really good can also be the thing that hurts the other player, and that's what you're searching for, really, if you can.
Yeah, I remember a number of years back, the first World Series of bowling in Detroit that you bowled very well at, where there were quite a few matches where one in particular I remember was Norm Duke came into a match against Tom Smallwood, and Norm was averaging something crazy like 270 in his matches and had swept all the matches leading up to the match with Smallwood, which was for the TV show. And Smallwood basically threw charcoal across where Norm was going to play, and made it an ugly match, and it went 7 games, and Norm ended up barely winning, but he did not average 270. Is that something that you think people do at this tournament when they see a hot player coming into a match where maybe they do play a little bit of defense?
Maybe, but in 3 games, it's certainly a lot harder than 7. You don't have when you're. I mean, I know I used to do this quite a bit, and I got fairly good at it towards the end of the best of 7 format. If you're bowling somebody that is like maybe straighter than you can maybe give away game 1 or game 2, knowing that you're setting them up for later. And that's a thing that I certainly did in the past. But in a 3-game match, it's not, there's not enough time to throw away a game, especially in a total pin one, where the best of 7s were, if you lost the game, it didn't matter if you bowled 260 and lost or bowled 120 and lost. It didn't matter, just one game. Where in this, if you bowl 120, you're probably done.
Yeah.
So you can't afford to burn a game like that. So you don't see it as much as you did in that format.
Well, Bill, I got to get up and go change the cameras again. Dang it! You gonna stay around for one more game, or you gotta take off for the night?
No, I'll stick around for the last game.
All right, sweet. All right, I'll be right back.
It keeps me from looking at this Nuggets Clippers game. So.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about Sixers Lakers when I get back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'd rather talk that than bowling.
All right, we do have some updates here for you folks as we prepare for game number 5. First and foremost, congratulations to Dale Coffey, rolling 300, first
Wow.
one of the event. So gets to minus 103 if he can pop another big game like that. That'd be one heck of a comeback there, Bill.
If he makes this cut, I'll say for sure that's the greatest finish to make a cut in tournament history. All tournaments, all tournament history.
From minus 203 to potentially in all the way to 103 now. I know he was on the very low end. We're going to head over to. We're here in 65 through 68. JT, as you mentioned, getting some cameras switched around for everyone watching. We're going to take a look at Kyle Sherman here. Kyle was plus 12 heading into game number 4. Ran into some trouble on his last pair shot, 157. So that's going to make things a little more interesting for the young standout here. So we will get to take a look at him, and as we take a look around here, we'll do our best to keep everyone up to date with the excitement here as we get closer to the top 64. After three games, we'll have 4 in a moment. Michael Tang still holding on to it, minus 41. Zach Weidman, who was ahead of him at minus 30, had a rough game as well. So he drops on the other side of that. Wesley Lowe still within striking distance, but he's going to need a decent game. Going to need about 220, 230 to get around that minus 35, minus 40 number. The announcement from Damon means we're set here, folks. Final game of qualifying at the 2021 USBC Masters. I'm Aaron Smith alongside Jason Thomas. Mike Flanagan joining us as well. Matt Cannizzaro. And our guest in the booth right now, Bill O'Neill. Bill, JT mentioned Sixers-Lakers, very busy trading deadline this year. How you feeling about the team moving forward into the back half of the regular season and into the playoffs?
I feel okay about the Sixers. It like every year with the Sixers, a lot of it depends on health. So if Embiid can come back and play at the level he was playing at before he got hurt, then they can beat anybody if he plays like that. So it's really dependent on that, and if Simmons keeps playing defense the way he is, and then they got a shot. They got a better roster this year than they had last year. So I don't know if it's enough to get out of the East or win it all or anything like that, but I certainly think they can make a run if Embiid plays the way he was playing before he got hurt.
Yeah, that Brooklyn team has come together in quite a way over the past couple months here. They're
incredible, and I follow it quite a bit. And, I'm kind of an addict to the NBA and all the news and everything, and I was following the James Harden trade stuff pretty closely, and when he got traded to the Nets, it broke my heart. I wanted him on the Sixers to play with Embiid. It crushed me when he not only did he not go to the Sixers, but he went to the team that's going to be standing in their way. So that was a tough one.
Agreed on both ends. Not on the team, in the conference as well, but hopefully the Sixers make a nice little run this year. Like the team. Solid group for sure, and we'll be excited to see it play out similar to this final game here. Taking a look across our featured pairs right now for some players potentially in the cut. If you guys want to jump around, we have Anthony Stewart on our 49 through 52 channel. He's at minus 42. Over on lanes 57 through 60, we have Wesley Lowe at minus 64 and Zach Weidman at minus 72. And as we mentioned here, Kyle Sherman minus 31 with Michael Rubin at minus 95. We need a big effort. As with Charlie Brown on lanes 69 and 70. Looks like minus 85 for Charlie.
Yeah, Kyle not starting off the way he certainly wanted to there with the misfire, and I could see the frustration on his face. And this tournament can, in this pattern, can beat you up, and he's got to focus here and try to get his bearings under him and make a few good shots, and especially if before the game he says, all right, if I just bowl 205, I'm probably good, and it's to start out with an open can be demoralizing, but he's got to make one at a time.
I found it interesting, watching Jason Belmonte come down the stretch and just how calm he was that last game, needing, 240 or better. He got a couple of, he tripped a 4. He got a messenger in the 9th. Some pretty exciting strikes and moments in that match, and he never slapped a shot out. He never got too up or down. He just was completely calm that whole last game. Do you try to go for that, feeling when you need a big game and try not to get too high or low?
Yeah, I think I didn't see him bowl at all this tournament because he was pretty far away from me. But I imagine because I was exactly the same way the last game, and I think what you're confusing calmness with depression. I think, and he was probably just like me and just distraught that he bowled another bad game, the second to last game, and bowled himself out of the tournament, and then was now all of a sudden he had a chance for a big game, and before he knew it the game was over, just like kind of like I did.
Yeah,
I think at one point he was like 100 and he was over 100 over. So,
he was, yeah, right.
Getting
with
back
3 to go yesterday.
Getting to a point where you've now gone. I guess he would have been like 170 under over his next 8 games or whatever that was, and that's not territory that he would find himself in maybe ever. Bowling scores that low, for that long of a period. So, but that's just him being able to bowl a game like that at the end is why he's who he is.
Well, you can definitely see the tension on in Kyle's body right now, and I'm sure Bill, your advice would be, hey, like you said, you got to calm down. You got to try to slow everything down, get in the right frame of mind, and maybe catch a turkey here and stay clean and punch your ticket into tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I think his first 2 shots, he definitely pulled the ball down from the top of the swing. It wasn't as smooth as he normally throws it, and and that happens to me when I get the ball into the swing too late and I'm trying to be too perfect, and I think that's what he did in his first 2 shots. Like and that shot was much better.
Yeah,
just way better. You could see it from his third step. His ball was at the top of the swing. It just sat there and then came down effortlessly. And if he can do that a few more times, he'll be good to go. Which is always easy to say when you're sitting in your bed watching on a computer.
Yeah, at -12 instead of right on the cut line.
Yeah, who would have thought -12 would just be sitting here like home free?
Do you ever remember a cut at this event being this low?
I don't think so. No, I don't. Maybe there was a time or two, but I don't remember. I mean, I can't. I mean, usually the scores aren't super high, but they're usually not this low. This is we've had years where we used to bowl the U.S. Open at Carolier, where the leaders were higher than the leaders here, which is pretty crazy to think about because they used to be pretty tough in that event.
Yeah.
We actually got Matt's been trying to look that up to see, and so far we can at least say it's been the lowest match play cut score in more than 2 decades. So that's a testament to how difficult it's been this week.
Yep, and I can get get on my soapbox here and do my whole. This is why that it's the lanes that control the scoring pace and not the balls.
Right, for sure.
So I can do that now. So we just had the lowest cut in a long time, and the balls can only change them so much when you're making this hard.
Were you surprised to see the volume as high as it was with the limited number of games that are being bowled on the pairs, especially with you guys spreading out and only bowling half as many games on each pair?
Well, I got to be honest. I don't look at the graph, so I didn't even know what the volume was. But it didn't. After a couple games, it doesn't feel like the volume is super high. I think maybe because guys are using such bigger bowling balls in the first couple of games that it forces everybody a little bit further left, and the stronger stuff seems to roll a little bit too early, and you got to get to some balls with a little bit cleaner coverage. You can't go to the super weak stuff because it'll never hook. But the certainly not using the really, really dull balls.
Kyle with a big double there. Looks those last two shots were pretty good. I wonder if he had a little chat with his ball rep and just said, "Hey, calm down, buddy. Let's just make some good shots."
Yeah, he made a ball change too. So sometimes just picking up a different ball, even it may not even change anything motion wise, but if you pick up a different ball, sometimes it's you just mentally get yourself in a better spot, especially if you pick up a ball that you really like.
Taking a quick look around the live scoring, and guess who has 16 strikes at least in a row? Dale Coffey, early four-bagger after 300 last game to get to minus 103.
Wow, that would be pretty epic.
We got Michael Rubin right now, minus 95. Little four-bagger action after the spare in the first. So good times.
How would you like to be the last player out of the cut if he goes around you? Nice shot.
That would be a story that you would not want to tell. That would be a tough one. You're sitting there, and I'm not going to laugh too much because there's still a chance that person could be me. So I'm not going to do that yet. But you're sitting there like, I finished 65th at the Masters. I thought I was going to make it, and then somebody says, what happened? Well, the cut was under, and the guy that jumped me bowled 600 the last two and knocked me out. Well, that's a tough way to go out.
He bowled the only 2 300s of the whole event.
In back-to-back games. The final two games.
Yeah, the last two games. So, Aaron, who are some of the other players who are on the bubble here this last game?
Still waiting for that update, but also on our featured pairs, got to keep an eye on Zach Weidman and Wesley Lowe on 57 and 58. Zach struggled that last game to fall presumably out of the number. He was at minus 30, was right around in that 160, 170 range. So I believe he was sitting at, I called it earlier, minus 72, but he has struck on 5 out of his first 6. For Wesley Lowe at minus 64, clean through 6. But has not found a double yet. Did strike in frame number 6. We also mentioned Anthony Stewart, who's at minus 42, and a little bit different story for Anthony. 75 in the 5th. He has a pair of opens so far. So looking to get things going in the right direction here in the back half of the game. Bill, I got to ask, as a young player like Anthony is, heading into a big event like this, the Masters, the U.S. Open, whatever it may be, when you're in that position for the first time and you're right around a cut, how tough is it to pry the ball off your hand those final few shots, trying to secure a spot in a big event like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can feel it for sure. You want to do well in the first time you bowl, and you're putting expectations on yourself, but also really, you don't really have anything to lose. It's your first time. Most people, don't have like expectations to win the first time they come out. So I think just being in that situation, that maybe not see it right away, but no matter what happens, whether it's good or bad, is a totally beneficial experience when it's your first time out. Needing a game to make the cut.
And Dale Coffey will not have the second 300 of Masters qualifying. Did 9 count in the fifth frame there, so waiting for live scoring to see the update to see if he's still clean, but still a chance for 579 out there. Final 2.
And that might be enough, right?
It would, yeah.
Yeah,
That would get him in.
And,
yeah, that would be amazing.
I like how Dale has lifted our spirits to this. It's been so low scoring all week. He shoots 1-300, and all of a sudden, we're okay. 579. That seems out there.
yeah, I mean, he only needs to end the game on a 6-bagger. It shouldn't be no problem. He's got what? He's got 16 in the last 17. What's 5 or 6 more?
There we go.
Well, we'll write the story, and then people will say on social media how walled they were this week.
Yeah, that's always my favorite. The wall.
They're too easy. Someone bowled 300, 279 the last 2 games. They're too easy.
Yeah, like scores can be high, and they can be easier for us, but that doesn't mean that they're walled like you would see it at home or something. Because we certainly have enough guys that come out that are 230 average in league, and can't get close to a check on the tour. So they're definitely 2 different worlds.
Well, Anthony Stewart has put together a double after his early struggles, and he's running them out. Looks like we're going to get the scoring update any second here, Aaron Smith, is what I'm hearing.
Excellent.
If Rob Gottschall is listening, let's tell him to speed it up a little bit. Let's get these scores cranking. It's almost the game's almost over here.
All right, they are posted. They just refreshed. Thank
you, Rob.
Let's scurry on down. Tommy Jones, minus 49, the current cut number. So Anthony Stewart was within the number to start. Tommy is on 33 and 34, and he's maintaining right now. 210 pace. We mentioned Anthony finding a couple strikes there over on 49 and 50. Taking a look at the players currently in the cut from B squad around the number. We got Kyle Sherman at minus 31. We're watching him right now. Justin Veach at minus 38. Anthony and Tommy. Tommy's the cut. First player out, Chris Martinez. He is already in the books. Chris is at minus 51. Osku at minus 58. On the squad, Graham Fa at minus 59. Wesley Lowe, minus 64. Benjamin Martinez, minus 69. Zach Weedman, minus 72. Dick Allen, minus 84. Charlie Brown, minus 85. Michael Rubin, minus 88. Jerry Mars, minus 90. There he is, Dale Coffey, minus 103.
Oh, Graham Fa's got himself close to this number. He was on the pair we watched a couple games ago. He was 90 something under, and he pulled 230 and got a shot.
Yeah, TJ's got a big 10th frame coming up. He's currently on a 199 pace going into the 10th. He can punch for 209. And
this is the only pattern where I think it's that I won't yell at you for the term pacing. This is it. This is the only one.
Yeah.
I used to get in arguments with Chris Barnes about it. He used to do that. He used to do that all the time. We would do it when we would bowl for Team USA, and he would go look at somebody's score, and he'd be like, "Oh, they're bowling 205." Oh, okay. And then the scores would come out, and they'd say, "Hey, this guy bowled 235." He said he was bowling 205. Oh, well, he was pacing 205. I said, oh, I'm sorry. That guy's one of the best in the world, and you didn't think he was going to throw a double the rest of the game? Like, no, we're not going to do that. Just tell me what the score is, please. Give me max score. But here's the tournament where I'll let you do the spare strike thing.
Yeah, Jeff Goodger and I used to argue about that all the time. He would insist that your pace is whatever your average per frame is, extrapolated out for the rest of the game. And I said, yes, if this was a math class, he would be correct. But for simplicity's sake, we use pace so that we can figure out if the other guy never throws another double and I go off the sheet, do I still have a chance to catch him? That's how I tried to explain it to him. He still wouldn't accept that, but he begrudgingly allowed me to continue to use the terminology.
Yeah, I don't accept it either.
I tried.
I want to know what the person I'm bowling, what's the maximum that they can bowl. Because, when you're bowling against the best in the world, they're going to strike more than they're not. And so to just give them a score that is a Dutch 200th type of score seems silly to me. Except here. This is it.
Yeah. I always tell people the pros always think they're going to strike out from wherever they are.
Well, I think most of us are pessimistic enough to just think that that's what our opponents are going to do.
Good point. Well, if Kyle Mark's here, Aaron, we could probably jump over to maybe Anthony Stewart or someone else. Who's
I would probably go to 57, 58 first there. So,
okay.
It's Zach and Wesley's 10th frame just wrapping up.
Okay. I think I'm going to give Kyle this spare. And
because if he makes this, he can open for 2-0. So
yeah,
that should be enough, right? Something
Yeah.
in the 30s should be good.
Yep. Nicely done. That was a nice turnaround there for Kyle to bail out the cut here.
Wesley did not get there. He's going to drop some pins 177. Zach, 209 to get to minus 63. Let's see if we can find Anthony here really quick.
He's on 49 and 50.
I'll make the switch here in just a second.
I don't know if you guys could hear the banging and the yelling that has been going on downstairs at my house, but it appears that the Nuggets might have made a 3 or something.
All right.
Well, Tommy Jones is finished. He shot 196. That puts him at minus 53.
And that stinks because he then falls behind one of the dead numbers there.
Yeah, I think that's more than likely going to put him out. Although Anthony Stewart, if he were to drop below TJ, then maybe not.
Well, what's spare strike here for him is what, 191?
191. That would put him at 51. So he'd still be safe. So count is huge here.
191. Yeah, he needs a strike to tie Chris Martinez.
And if he gets 8 here, he's tied with TJ. There could be a roll-off at that spot.
Oh, wow. This is a big shot.
And guys, we got a sleeper right now.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. What'd you say, Aaron?
Jerry Mars at -90, potentially shooting 250 this game.
Wow. You could knock them all out. So Anthony Stewart,
Ooh.
if he were to strike here, he'd be at -51. 8 count, he'd be tied with TJ at -53. Matt Russo going to make the cut in soft.
Final tally there, Jerry Mars, 248.
Wow.
So that gets him in?
He is -42. And you thought you had a nice finish today, Bill.
I had a nice enough finish.
Wow, that's impressive. This is going to be interesting. There's a very good chance we're not done working tonight, Mr. Smith.
It would not be the first time.
Tommy and Anthony would be tied at the number if nobody else. Oh no, because Jerry went in, right?
Correct.
And so I'm just looking. There's a lot of dead numbers up there. So Kyle stayed in. So I guess it would be with Justin Beach.
Justin shot 196, so he's at -42.
What did Dale Coffey shoot?
He slowed down a little bit there. He could have maxed out in the, let's see, 227. So got to -80. -75, -80 range.
So if nobody else besides Jerry goes in, that means Chris Martinez would be the number?
Yeah, that's what
That's
Tim
right?
Mack is saying. He thinks 51 is the number. Which means TJ got an 8 count on his last shot, and is going to miss by 2 pins. And same with Anthony Stewart, 8 count on the last shot to finish -53.
Just another update. The Nuggets are up 8 with 2 minutes to go. So I'll let you guys know.
What do you think of my UCLA Bruins?
Oh
Bill?
yeah, they made the Final Four. I'm not a huge. I don't watch a ton of college basketball. Obviously, I watch the tournament. Yeah, I mean, there's always seems to be one every year, like a high seed that sneaks their way in there.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Bill. My son is going to Baylor, and they are in the Final Four as well. So who do I root for? Do I root for my team, the school I went to, or do I root for my son's team? And if my team beats my son's team, do I rub it in his face?
Interesting. It's funny because my neighbor's son just went to U of M in Michigan this past year, and he didn't get to go. He had to do everything online. But I see the dad running around the neighborhood and all his U of M gear. now. So you're going to be doing that soon with Baylor. But I think you can hedge your bet here, and I think you can tell yourself whichever way whoever wins, you can sell yourself on. That's the one you're rooting for. So either way, you're gonna have a squad in the final.
It's good, right? It's like if Maria and Nathan bowl each other for the show, they can't lose, right?
I mean, in theory, I guess maybe, but that's no matter who wins that match, there's a lot of jokes to be had.
We mentioned that they're the second husband and wife to make the. Well, we think it's the second. Matt's still researching it, but we believe they are the second husband and wife to make the finals in the same Masters, and the first. I'm sure.
Can I guess?
Know.
Oh, let me guess. Would it be Chris and Linda?
Yes, correct. And guess who finished higher in the tournament that year?
Well, just by your voice inflection there, I'll go Linda.
Yes, of course. Of course she did. Now, they didn't actually get to bowl each other.
I'm sure Linda's never said a word about
it.
Guys, I'm for the folks I was tracking, the only other player who kind of snuck in and actually had a chance, if he would have doubled in the 10th, Charlie Brown shot 226 that last game to get to minus 59. He needed that second hit in the 10th. Would have been at minus 49. Or if he would have struck out.
So Graham didn't get in?
Graham was only 2-0 that game, so he got to minus 55. 204, I believe.
Well, was he pacing 2-0 or did he bowl 2-0?
It's 204.
Okay. Pacing. He was pacing 300.
And he was another one. Could doubled in the 10th. Got the first one, did not get the second one.
Ooh.
Well, guys, we've got a very famous guest who's waiting patiently for us to talk to him.
Let's bring him in then.
Can you guys hear me?
Brad Miller.
We can.
All right. Hey, how's it going?
Brad, hey,
Great.
they oversold you there because they said I didn't know who would expect. They said famous.
That's what I know.
It was an oversell. Who's coming?
This
Who's
famous
coming
guy. The internet's a wild place, I'll tell you. Yeah, I was worried about Kyle. I was kind of in there pretty nicely, and Kyle shoots like 150 game 4. And I'm thinking, oh well, this is going to be tough for the vlog, you know. And then he somehow shoots 216 to get in. But our entire pair ended up making it. And Jerry Mars, the game before, he was 90 under, and he was like just kind of fed up with it. And he starts to take his tape off, and he's like, I'm just going home. You suck, just bad-mouthing himself. And I was kind of thinking in my head, like, man, like this number just keeps dropping like a rock. And I'm thinking, well, just match up and shoot 250. And like in the 7th frame, I saw he has strike, spare, 5-bagger. And then he throws a 6-1 in the 8th. And I'm thinking, all right, man, like, let's do this. And then he goes spare, strike, spare to be in the number. It's pretty wild.
Certainly was. Brad, we kind of watched you guys at the start of competition today, that very first game, and it seemed like you were starting off a little bit farther right than everybody and then made the move in and, really set yourself up for the rest of the day. Talk about the communication that was just going back and forth between the entire pair there.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I need to ask Bill for some lessons or something because I keep trying to play straight, and I just can't do it because I elbow every other shot, and one overreads and the other one doesn't. And I figure, it'd be cool to be able to play like up 5 consistently and actually hit your mark, but I can't do it. So Jim Powell, in practice, last couple shots of practice, he goes, just move in. I moved in, and I decided to start straight. But then Wes started hooking him from the get-go, and it looked okay. Sloan was hooking him, so I was like, I'll just give it up. I know I want to play straight, but I'm not very good at it. So, and then I had this high road that gave me shim, and the rest is history. It was actually pretty nice tonight.
Brad, I'm going to give you the first piece of advice I'll give you, Brad, is play 5 on patterns that let you play 5.
John told me, he goes, dude, you have to be so perfect. I'm like, I know, I want to be, I just can't.
Yeah, quit trying to be a hero. Just go out and create ball reaction.
Brad, when was the last time you made a cut where one of your blocks you started with a 495 set for your first 3?
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. Yeah. My brain was a little sideways after 3 yesterday. I had no idea what to do. And then I pull out this high road and I move in and it gives me the world. And then today I did the same thing. I don't know where I'd be without this high road. Shout out to the high road. So
what's the plan for tomorrow? I'm sure you got to look at a lot of different angles. Do you have any game plan going in tomorrow? You're just going to try to, go in and play it by ear.
Yeah, well, my goal was throughout the week to, because sometimes in this tournament you get on pairs that just let you play straight, and that's kind of the way to do it, and you can really whack them. So one of my goals was just to get more comfortable doing that. I did not succeed. So tomorrow I'm probably going to be hooking it, just for the same reasons that Bill just said. But earlier, like the first block, I was able to throw strong balls, and then talking to the reps and just watching everyone, the fronts are just hooking more and more. So I was just talking to Sean about some weaker options or some cleaner options. And I just pulled out like an IQ Tour, an Afterburner, and I threw him the last game and looked pretty good. So my arsenal is looking a lot better just as long as the cleaner balls keep working. And then if they don't, I got a couple more options that are stronger too. So there for a second, I was thinking it was high road or nothing. But after throwing this IQ Tour and Afterburner, and then there's a couple more in there, I feel pretty good. So it's definitely play by ear because it just depends on what pair and everything. But I feel good. My arsenal feels good.
All right, Brad. I watched the vlog a little bit earlier today. Where's the insight at? You didn't mention the insight. I thought that was going to be.
Ball.
I thought that was going to be it.
I told Richie Teese last night because he's the only guy I saw throw the ball. And I'm like, man, I was hoping you would bowl good with it. And he goes, yeah, I threw it 2 shots and put it right in the bag. I said, I did the same thing, man. It's not the ball, I guess. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow.
So what do you do now? I mean, you seem pretty wired up, and I'm sure Kyle's going to be pretty wired up too. What do you do to kind of unwind and get some sleep for tomorrow?
Well, the best thing for me to do is just to not eat, go back, shower, and lay down and not do anything. But Kyle's going to want to eat, so I'll probably eat. And then I'll go back, shower, edit the video, get on the internet. I'll probably fall asleep feel like crap tomorrow morning. I don't know. I'm asking you guys, what's the secret to actually getting sleep? I'm not sure, but sleep is the biggest thing.
I think I have no idea because we don't sleep this week. So yeah, you're on your own on that one.
What time do we start tomorrow? I don't even know.
A little bit later. 10 a.m.
Oh, 10?
Yeah.
Way good.
Oh,
like a vacation day.
Depending you could start at noon, I believe, right?
It's 10 to noon. Yep. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, right. Half the field does start later. Correct.
Oh, really?
Yes.
All right.
Well, that's the biggest part of the draw, right? It's not who you bowl. It's whether you get to get up at 8 or get up at 10, right?
Yeah, I don't want to get up at 8.
Well, good luck tomorrow. Get some rest.
Thank you.
Yep. And great bowling so far.
Thank you.
And maybe we'll be talking to you at various points tomorrow.
Sounds good. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right. Nice bowling.
Hey, Brad.
All right, Bill, thank you again for spending some time with us, dropping some insight, talking some Sixers. It was a good time, and we think we got the score. JT, I haven't been able to hear it. Have they made anything official yet on your side?
Not that I am aware of, but we do have one more guest before we get that, just to...
Is it one of the players on the Nuggets that covered tonight? No?
It could be. It could be.
But before we do that, though, is Michael Flanagan around? Because I think we need a camera adjustment.
Yeah, no. Let's bring him on like this.
All right, stranger things have happened. Oh, there he is.
Ah, too late. He got it. He fixed it. Yeah, there's a little bit of a height difference between our first guest and this guest. Just in case.
What's up, guys? How are you doing?
We're doing great. How are you?
I'm doing better.
Why are you better? What was going on that made you not be so good?
Just coming off the World Series and having a pretty poor performance at the World Series, and being kind of behind in points and not being in the. I don't want to say I'm not in the race for the top 16 in the playoffs, but definitely lights a little fire under you when you get behind like that, especially after kind of a pretty good start to the season.
Now, Wes, today was, you entered on the right side of plus, but certainly with the way the scores have been this week, it's certainly been give and take for a lot of players. So for you, what were the keys to success? We just talked to Brad. He said, you started a little bit farther left than he did, and it seemed to work out. You got out of the gates great today, put yourself in position to advance. Just what were the keys today? And moving forward, how much does that change heading into bracket matches?
Well, one of the keys, we're day 3, so, the body's loosening up, getting a little more comfortable, getting the hand in the right spot, doing the right deal. But probably one of the biggest things is I actually had a bowling ball overnighted to me last night and got it here today. And that was a ball, Tim and I had talked about it and we thought it'd be in play. And sure enough, it ended up matching up really well until we made the flip down to the low end, and it got a little funky down there. And but definitely was a great choice and well worth the expense of getting that ball here overnight.
How do you feel in this building, Wes? I remember, actually, I think it was my most memorable Masters match. You didn't come out on top in that one. It was against Mr. Barnes. He bowled 300 against you the last game to pull it out. But you've had a lot of success in this building. How do you feel when you walk in here? Do you feel like it's something that a place where you're going to have success in automatically?
Are you talking back early in my career?
I am. It was, this was about 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
I thought you were the stat superstition here. Because that was Walter Ray Williams. And unfortunately, I remember that. Maybe that's because, in the past, that was back when we were doing a lot of the best of 7 matches. And, my record against Walter was pretty good of, being able to break the lanes down in a way that, I could come out on top in seven games. Maybe not necessarily win 4-0, but definitely get them broken down to where Walter, angles weren't very good later in the match. But in a 3-game total pin match, I was up, I want to say 60 or 70, and like you said, he shot 300 the last game, I believe, to come out with the win. So unfortunately, I remember that. Sounded a lot like Mike Flanagan. He goes, "Is this the hardest Masters you've ever bowled in?" And I said, "Well, I don't know if it's the hardest. I definitely know it's not my worst performance. I'm sorry I can't talk tonight." But, I said, thanks for bringing that memory back to the forefront of my memory.
You have had a lot of success in this tournament, though. What is it about the match play format that suits your game well?
Well, it's another format that we only get to bowl once a year. And I do enjoy bowling multiple different formats throughout a season. I don't, I'm not a huge fan of just, bowling qualifying and just, if you want to say kind of like golf, it's just over and over and over. It's the same thing. I do enjoy throwing different formats in, and, this being a totally different format than what we ever see out on, the regular PBA tour. And what I like about it is it requires different strategies. It challenges you, it makes you think, and makes you attack and, approach the lane totally different. And it could be, match to match as well.
Yeah, you mentioned you didn't have a great World Series, but there were a lot of players that had kind of surprisingly tough World Series. Was it more just kind of the characteristics of the bowling center that maybe you had some trouble with, or was there something physical there? And if so, did you work on something between that tournament and here to get yourself back in the form that you're in now?
Bill, do you want to answer that? You can probably tell them if I practiced at all during the break.
Wes probably didn't practice a whole lot during the break. Wes, I will tell a quick little thing about Wes. Wes had a tough start to the World Series. Now I can say it now because Wes he's bowled good this week and he made the cut. But Wes at the World Series had a game. I'd never seen this game before in my life. Wes only had, I believe, he had 2 opens the first game and bowled 142. With 2 opens.
Wow.
Very difficult.
That's hard
very difficult to do.
Yeah.
How did a game 2 start, Bill?
And he had double gutter the first game, and then he also had a gutter on a spare, and then in game 2 he also had another double gutter. and it's not the way you want to start a long form shot.
Yeah.
I gotta
19
say.
in the third is not a very good start. That is correct.
But he was not. We were bowling on Cheetah, and you had to get it to the gutter, and he was not afraid to throw it in. That's the
No.
positive you can take out of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, most of those gutter shots I actually thought were really good shots. It just didn't pick up. So
That's how you know you're not lined up.
oh yeah, no,
If you're
realize
running
that.
out 0, you're not lined up.
Yeah. So, the pins were, I've actually never bowled on mag pins, but I know they have a mag pin tournament in the Dallas area. And honestly, that would probably be kind of what I felt bowling on mag pins is like. I mean, those pins just felt like they were super heavy, and I know, there's a lot of friction in the front in that building, but I mean, it felt like you had to hit the 1-3 pocket just right to get them all to knock down. And honestly, how TD managed to roll the 2-8 to win the world championship, I'm not real sure, because I don't recall ever seeing that in that building in the 3 days I bowled. So definitely not a normal hit, and definitely not in that building.
Well, when it's your week, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you got to bowl well, and you also got to get the breaks. And I didn't see a whole lot of it, but from what I've heard and what I've seen, Tom definitely bowled well and definitely earned that title.
So what's the strategy for tomorrow? Was there anything that you saw here? Obviously today was your best day. You had a pretty big block out there today. Did you find something that you liked, or is it all out the window tomorrow and you just play basically against your opponent?
Oh, well, now we're not going to be crossing the building for the match. I mean, we're going to stay on one pair. So it's really going to come down to how you break the pair down. And, I've already had discussions about that. Do I break them down with urethane? Do I break them down with reactive? Which kind of plan of attack do we go to try and build them up to the way that I would like them? I typically like to play offense and not defense. So, we'll just see how the bracket falls and who I draw in the bracket, and we'll kind of go from there and see how, we'll start planning tonight and thinking about strategies and how to break them down. And hopefully I can just, physically perform out there and stay mentally strong, and come away with a win and advance into the bracket.
Well, we just heard the announcement in the building. The official 64th place is Chris Martinez at -51.
Wow.
So no roll off for us. We will not have to do overtime tonight. And that's kind of unusual. We usually do have roll-offs here at the Masters. I don't know if I've ever worked a Masters where there wasn't a roll-off for that last spot, but the field is set. Everybody's ready. You guys ready for tomorrow? Meaning Bill?
I'm ready. I wasn't supposed to make it, and I'm going to get in there and bowl some games tomorrow, so I'm ready. I'm excited.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you guys both are in the cut. We're looking forward to seeing you both compete tomorrow. What are you going to do tonight to prep for the matches tomorrow?
Well, for me, first thing I'm going to do is probably get a little bit of food in me, and go shower, clean up, and that way I can get a good night's rest and figure out what time I got to be here in the morning and put the shoes on and be ready to roll.
How about you, Bill?
I'm going to try to do the things I did when I went and practiced today. Try to get my physical game back in order, and just pay attention to what's happening out there and who I'm bowling and what they're doing, and try to figure out the best plan of attack, and then shut my brain off and just go bowl.
And I assume Mr. Belmonte is very happy that to learn that he's in the cut, as well as Kyle Troop, who we watched earlier today. So we'll get to watch all those players, plus you guys tomorrow. Good luck in the match play portion. Hopefully, and we really appreciate your time here tonight as well. Hopefully, we'll have some additional interviews with you guys after winning some matches tomorrow. So good luck.
All right.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys. All right, JT, there we go.
Woo! Wow.
-51. Chris Martinez had looking back at the score sheet, 257, I want to say, in game 14 to put himself in position. But And it looks like we are updated online, folks, as well. Just refreshed. Minus 51 the number. You talked about the roll off. If one or two things happen, if for Justin, I know a few folks were asking about him, minus 42. If he would have given a few more pins back, perhaps it could have been a roll off. But 65th place a tie, Tommy Jones and Anthony Stewart at minus 53, Graham Pha minus 55, Askew minus 58, and Charlie Brown minus 59. So taking a look at Chris Martinez, Justin Veitch, Jerry Mars with that big 248. The real story of that final game, Michael Tang and Kyle Troop, Belmo, Butters ended up in 50. Let's see, who had the higher block? Belmo did. So Jacob will be 59th in his title defense, Belmo in 58th. Overall, tournament leader, Gary Faulkner Jr., steady throughout the course. First and second each of the days, finishing at plus 220. Norm Duke plus 216 in second. Chris Prather third, plus 202. Anthony Simonson 187. EJ Tackett plus 183. So those last three guys on this past squad. Tim Foy Jr. and Nathan Bohr tied at plus 154. Francois Lavoie plus 151. Michael Holloman, the 2019 runner-up, plus 144. And then rounding out the top 10, DJ Archer at plus 138. So there we have it, folks. We know who is in the bracket. The good folks on site, I'm sure, already started filling it out, figuring out who's going where, who's bowling early, who's bowling late. But the action kicks off once again, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. local time in Reno for the left side of the bracket to kick things off in the winner's bracket, JT.
I can't wait. I can't wait for it. It's like I said at the start of the week, this is my favorite tournament to watch. And they always say this is 2 tournaments in one. The part that's coming up tomorrow is really my favorite because it's head-to-head match play. And there's so much strategy, so much of a chess game going on between each of the players. There's so many fantastic finishes where one player comes from way behind to win a match. And it's just going to be super, super exciting. So I can't wait for tomorrow. And I hope you all tune in to watch starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time here on Bull TV.
All right, folks, that's going to do it. So first off, a big thanks to everyone for joining us in Bull TV. We gave away a bowling ball today from Rotogrip, so thanks to them once again. We have some more giveaways coming up throughout match play as well, so look forward to that throughout the course of the weekend until we get down to our top 5 for the step ladder finals on Sunday. So big shout out to all the folks on site there at the NBS, the NBS staff itself, the USBC staff making everything happen. JT putting in the long hours with us, making sure everything's running. Mike Flanagan and Kim doing so much great stuff on the social media side. Caitlin Nelson as well, rocking those IG stories like it's going out of style. For our guests, we had Nick Hoagland on a little bit earlier today. We had Brad Miller join us there. Wes, Bill O'Neill to help wrap things up. And of course, Matt Canzaro as well, who's already hard at work for the recap story for qualifying. So for Jason Thomas, I'm Aaron Smith. Big thanks to everyone again for joining us here at the 2021 USBC Masters from Reno. And that's going to do it for tonight, folks. But as JT said, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. That's noon for me. I get to sleep in now, so I like it. But thank you again so much for everyone for joining us. We will see you tomorrow from Reno. And folks, remember, on Bull TV, bowling lives here. Have a great night.